Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. And welcome back, everyone. We love our animals. You have a pet, you have a few. We love them. They're like members of the family. But did you ever think that you could learn a lot of life lessons from your dog, your cat, your ferret, whatever you got? We are going to talk about that today. Going to be a lot of realization, a lot of aha moments with the insight that she provides and will provide. She's an animal communicator. She goes even deeper than that. She's a psychic medium. She teaches how to do this. She has so many different modalities available to help move your life forward. And of course, we have to mention she has lots of books and CDs as well to change your life, face your fears, connect with the other side, and so much. And she's back with us. Great to have her here. Shirley Scott on the program. How are you today?
I'm good, Steve. Thank you. How are you doing?
Really good. Really good. And I look at my cats and my dog, and when I really take the time to be intentional, to look at their lives and how they really got it going on, they seem always happy. There's never really anything wrong. There's a lot of lessons, I believe, coming from them that we all need to observe.
Absolutely. You know, animals have to live in the very present moment. Because in their DNA, if they don't, they could be eaten, or they could, hurt themselves, or they need a meal in that moment, and they would, they're looking for food. So if we could literally learn one thing from them, and that's to live in the present moment, we'd be a lot happier. Because most humans either live in the past and everything that's happened in the past, or they're always looking at that next moment or that next day or into the future. And animals don't do that. They do remember the past, and, they will remember noises or smells or situations that will take them to the past, and then they learn from their past and go, okay, I'm not going to go there again, which they learn much better than humans. Or they're living in the present moment where they don't think about what's going to happen in 5 minutes. If you were to say to your dog, I'm going to feed you in 5 minutes, they go, you're going to feed me now because I'm hungry now. So they don't go into the future. If they do, it's very brief. You can see some animals thinking, like, if I do that, would that hurt me? But they don't go, well, tomorrow, this is what I'm going to do.
You said the present, which in my journey I've learned is so important. You need to harness the power of the present. However, you said for animals, they live in the very present, and that's a key. That, to me, that's a key. That the word "very" is a key word. Think about them. That's what they do. How much do they connect to the past?
They don't connect to the past really until something reminds them of it. If they've been abused and been hit by somebody, and you raise your hand, that could trigger them to the past. But they don't think about it all the time. You see some dogs that have been, really beaten, where their spirit is broken, and you can still bring them back. They still are living in the present moment of, is somebody going to beat me when they see me? So they're still in the present moment. And until you bring your arm up or something, they're still in that present moment. If you bring your arm up, they're going like, oh no, I remember that, and they'll back away. So, and a smell can take them back to a situation or a sound, but they don't think, a lot of times, as humans, we're thinking about, something we did 10 years ago, and we're thinking about it all the time and all the time and all the time. And animals don't do that. They try to stay in the present moment, even when they're been neglected or beaten or something. They're still in the very present moment about their pain or their suffering, and they do try to come out of it little by little. And you can bring most animals out. Some you cannot. Some, I've only, in all my 25 years of doing this, I have only had one dog that became a very dangerous dog, but he had been beat and he had a brain disorder. And he attacked his people, and they had to put him down, unfortunately. But also, it was almost okay with him, too, because he was in this mode of being so on guard and so scared and so not knowing what he would do, because he'd lay sometimes and just be laying there and be okay, and the next minute he would turn on him and attack. So he didn't know what he was doing either. So, but animals live in that present moment. I mean, that right now.
So let's go to that situation where, let's say, an animal maybe was abused, maybe the owner did something. Mm-hmm. Does the animal, and horrible to think of, but does the animal think of it, or it's only when there's a trigger? Like you said, let's say, life is okay, I'm being a dog, we're all good, and then the owner raises their voice as they did once before when things went bad, or, like you said, the hand came up or the foot came out. Is it right then that bing, dog goes immediately back to the past, and now we're in a protection mode? It's not there until that trigger shows up.
Until that trigger shows up. Yeah. Now, if they're living in an abusive situation all the time, they're going to be in that fear 24/7. But they're still in the present moment, because they're wondering when it's going to happen again, what's going to happen again, and they're still in that. And they do remember the pain if they are beaten or hurt. But if you get them out of that situation into a better situation, they don't think about it all the time until they're triggered.
Got it. Interesting. And yes, with humans, it's always floating out there. It's always in our, it could be there 24/7. We don't get rid of it. It's there. So,
and humans live in guilt. A lot of humans live in guilt. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Oh, if I'd only done something different. Oh, and animals, they don't live in guilt. They don't have guilt. They just do what they need to do.
No guilt at all?
Mm-mm.
Wow. What are some of the other lessons that we can take from them?
Some of the other lessons is not only to live in the present moment, but to take that present moment and be joyful. If you really watch animals, they are doing exactly what they need to do in that present moment. And if it's time to play, they're going to play. And if it's time to sleep, they're going to sleep. They're going to do what their body tells them what to do. If they're hungry, they're going to be hungry. But in that present moment comes all of the things that their body and their physical being is telling them to do. It's time to eat. It's time to go get some water. It's time to go potty. And they do all of that in that very moment. They're not thinking about, well, in 5 minutes it's going to be time to go for a walk. That's one thing humans make this big mistake about, is they say, oh, you want to go for a walk? And then the dog goes, yeah. And they go, okay, well, first I'm going to go potty, then I'm going to get my shoes on, then I'm going to get my coat on. Meanwhile, the dog is running around going, you said walk? What's all this other stuff you're doing? Because all that other stuff means nothing to them. They don't have to put on their shoes and their coat and la la la. So they live in that present moment. And if we can learn to take our being and give our body the respect of, man, I need a nap right now, or I need to really eat, or I need a drink of water, I'm feeling dehydrated, and really in that moment do what our body tells us it needs. That's what animals do.
I also, this was kind of a surprising moment for me when I figured out what grounding is, and the fact that animals are always grounded. Their feet are always on the floor. Their paws, right? Unless they're on your couch. They seem like they're just always, they almost seem like they're always in a good mood. Like there's no issues. We're all good here. Never to worry. Like, I don't know how they do that.
Well, they're grounded, and, Earth energy goes up about 3 feet. And then from there, Earth energy starts getting less and less in dimensions. And that's why most of the time when you see a ghost or something floating by, they're not touching the ground. They're up a little bit because if they touch the ground, they'd be grounded, and they can't ground because they're not in the third dimension and they're not in a third-dimensional body. But animals, they are always, on the ground, and even birds are touching, something that's grounded, like the trees or, even the wires, that type of stuff. They're always touching something that's already grounded. So they feel in their body more than humans do.
Say that last part again, because I got to process that.
They feel in their body more than humans do.
Like connected to their body?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they do. And because they have to be connected to their senses in their body to survive. They have to be really connected to their smell and their sight and their vision and the energies that they feel around them. They have to be connected to that for survival. So they're very much in their body. The only time they're really not in their body a lot of times is when they're out on the run and they're in survival and they think they're going to get killed. They can jump out of their body.
Okay. They can detach from their body?
Yeah, very easily. Their souls can come out of their body. And I tell people a lot of times, if you watch some of the, United Kingdom films and stuff, or where, an animal is going to kill another animal for food, if you really watch the eyes of the prey that's going to, or the predator, both, the prey that's going to die, their eyes go blank before they're dead, or before they're actually caught. They know they're going to die, and they'll jump out of their body.
This is now we're going deep into some different area, but wow. So that fosters the belief that they don't worry because they know that they can disconnect.
Yes.
There you go.
And they also know when death is coming. They also know where they're going. Animals travel on the astral plane and visit, what we call heaven, a lot easier and more times than we do.
Wow. Do they? All right, let's go with intuition. Now, we've identified before that you and I feel that we all have intuition. Some of us are more in tune with it. Some of us can block out the chaotic world so that we can really hear what's coming from within to pilot us. What about an animal's intuition?
They live with their intuition in their DNA every day. Their intuition tells them, I got a smell over here that, I smell a mountain lion. I'm not going that way. They don't, their intuition is different than ours, but it's more intense in a different way. Because animals will learn by watching others, but they don't experience like humans do from watching others. Their intuition is more on a physical, knowing that if I go over there, I'm going to get hurt because of the smell. Or I've gone over there before and I've gotten hurt, so I'm not going to go over there.
So is that their intuition, or that's their memory coming back when needed? In my experience, it's been more of their memory and what has been going on. The intuition not to do something for them is more in their smell and their senses. Just like ours is, but theirs is to a higher degree. And because they don't know everything in the world, it goes by smell. Like, I smell that over there, I'm not going to go that way. Where, we go, I feel something like I shouldn't go that way, but I'm not sure why. They do, I smell something over there, and it smells like danger to me. Smells like danger.
Mm-hmm.
What is some of the revelations that you've heard in communicating with animals based on the things that we're talking about that many of us wouldn't even realize unless we were truly communicating?
Wow. There's so many of them. Animals will. If we watch animals, we can learn from them. Even if we're walking on a trail, when animals are out with us and they smell danger, they will back away. Like a horse will stop dead. I mean, it'll just stop dead and start backing up, or it'll nicker, or it'll do something. That usually means that there is danger out there, and boy, we need to pay attention to that. Dogs will try to go a different way, and if we watch them, they'll look back at us and say, "Don't go there. Come this way with me." So just watching an animal and how they are acting when they are outside. Inside too, but inside's not as bad. When they're outside, all these smells and stuff. If you watch a cat outside, when a bird flies over, they'll automatically duck, whether it's a little bird or a big bird. And they are watching everything around them, because they know they could be eaten at any time.
So I'm getting visuals here. I'm getting understanding. I've seen horses in movies, TV, and in real life where they get to a point, they're saying, "No, I'm not going. That's it. Do whatever you want. I'm not going. I'm not progressing on. I'm not going in that direction." Is that their intuition coming up where they're saying they're concerned about something?
Yes, absolutely. Something's wrong. Something either smells wrong, something feels wrong, because, like I say, animals feel energy. Something sounds wrong. A lot of times they're in tune with nature so much that a bird sounding different or all the crickets stop, something is not right. And that is their intuition saying, we're not going any farther. We're not going to do this.
And I've even, now that you're saying it, I even notice it even with my dog. He's happy-go-lucky. Everything's good. But there have been moments where he doesn't want to go. And I don't know what it is. It's just not normally him. When he stops in his tracks and he won't progress on, there seems to be a reason.
It was really funny. I have my dog is a service dog, and she goes every place with me. But there's this one store in town she used to love to go in, and she loved the produce person. And she'd always go up to them, and they'd love her. And one day, I took her in, and she wanted out. She wanted back in the car. She didn't want to go in the store at all. She went in the store and, nope, I'm going back out. So I took her back out, put her in the car. I went back in, and the person that had been in produce had been fired. And there was this atmosphere in everybody being on edge. I could feel it. And I know that she felt it. And she will not go back in that store to this day. She will not go back in there. And the employees, there's been a bunch of them that have been fired or gone, and the turnover has just gone round and round and round. And she doesn't like the energy in that store anymore, and she refuses to go in because it feels threatening to her.
Wow. What do you think the threat was, ultimately?
Ultimately, it was the upset and anger that people were feeling in there. There was new management and things were changing, and people didn't like it, and there was a lot of anger with the employees, and you could kind of see it and feel it. I live in a small town, but you could really see it and feel it, and it was more of a threat because people were angry.
So she was just feeling the energy. I'm not going in there. That's bad energy. I don't want to hang in there.
Yep. And she knew it before I did. Yeah. It was not. I'm not. So and then when I started looking around the store, like, okay, what's going on? And then I noticed everything, and then I talked to some employees that I knew, and it was just like, wow. And the energy was just bad. I didn't want to be in there.
Well, it's the same thing. Shirley, like, when you go to let's say you get invited to a party, you walk in, and just doesn't feel fun. I don't know. Just, I don't know why, but I'm going to come up with an excuse. I just got a text and I need to leave early, as opposed to maybe you've gone to some where it's like, wow, yeah, this is a nice little vibe going on. This feels fun. I'm going to hang out here. This is good.
Absolutely. And that's, if people recognize that more in them, like the animals recognize it, we'd save ourselves a lot of grief. We
Oh
would.
my gosh. Once you start tuning into that
Mm-hmm.
negative energy, just that feeling, game changer. It's freedom. It opens your eyes, and you don't waste a lot of time. Like, why do you want to be at a party where it's just like a downer, but you can't put your finger on it?
Exactly. I mean, there are places that I don't even go because I know what the energy there is for me, and I don't like it, and I won't even go there. I just say, it's not worth it to me. There are people that I don't want to be around just because I can feel an energy there that, doesn't fit with mine. I tell some of my clients that if our vibe is not together, I can't read you because it's not going to match, and I'll send them on to somebody else. But that's one thing, if we really watched animals, we could learn from them. Learning to live in the present moment, pay attention to our feelings, and pay attention to what's going on around us, whether we can see it or not.
So let me ask you this question. And this is, good problem to have, but my one cat is mushy, lovable. Sometimes it's a little overbearing. He just wants to be hugged. He wants to nuzzle you. He wants to kiss you, but sometimes I don't even let him in my bed because I can't relax because he's all over me. And then he starts drooling on me. Again, wonderful problem to have. Not even a problem. I want to be nice, but how do I tell him, like, all right, I'll hug you, but can you lay next to me, buddy? And we'll just hang in. We'll hang together. But then he gets up and he's in my face again. How do I tell him in a nice way that, a little bit's okay?
Okay. So first of all, we have to train them because animals have to have boundaries. All animals have boundaries, whether they are domesticated or wild, and whatever group they're in, they have boundaries, okay? And so you just constantly take him and put him back down to your side, and you say, no, you stay here, and no, you stay here, and no, and pretty soon, all you have to do is go, and he'll go, oh, okay, and he'll lay back down beside you. It's a matter of putting up boundaries. If we don't have boundaries with our animals, they can go rogue on us really fast because then they don't feel safe, and so then they think they have to be in charge and be our guardians, and they can do what they want to. But all animals, no matter who or what they are, even if they are a solitary animal out in the wild, they all have boundaries, every single one of them. And we forget that, and we have to teach them our boundaries.
Okay. Wow.
And they don't get mad. They might get a little huffy once in a while. They go, well, but it's a boundary, and they understand boundaries.
Interesting. Wow. And boundary is such a strong word for everybody, animals included.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. In a pack of dogs, the alpha dog, he has boundaries, and if you cross them, he's going to take you down.
Mm. And I'm sure he has boundaries for his peers.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's even like a bear. A bear is a very solitary animal. However, they have a boundary around their territory, and nobody else crosses it.
There's a reason that animals have been around for so long.
There is.
and humans as well, but it seems like animals have a much easier way at it, and we could just learn from them. I learned from you. This is just, I'm going to go home and look at my pets in a different way now, really. That's good.
Yeah. Go home and watch what they do. And that's, like I say, being an animal communicator for, well over 20 years, it's something that I have learned to be in the present moment. And I can look at my animals and go, uh-oh, what's up? And be right there in that moment with them because they're acting different for 1 second or 2 seconds. And I know it. And so if we can do anything but learn from animals, it'd be great.
They are creatures of habit, and I mean that in such a positive way that it's amazing. At 7:15 every day, my dog says he needs to go out. It has nothing to do with the angle of the sun. Could be in the winter, could be in the summer.
Yep.
I don't even know how he does it.
Yep. Because because of the energies, and they know. It has nothing to do with time because they can't read time.
Yeah. It's just picking up on, like you said, the energies.
Yep.
And I could be fast asleep and not waking up early, but he knows it's time to go. This is the time of the day that we go. I need you to take care of that with me. Always fantastic talking with you, Shirley. This is just a piece of what you do and what you offer in terms of animal communication, where you can teach people how to do this. You also do psychic readings, whether it's connected to an animal or not. And you have a lot of resources on your website, Shirley-Scott with 2 T's, Shirley-Scott.com. Always great talking with you. I talk about you all the time.
Oh. I hope it's good.
Oh, it is. Trust me. The things I've learned, the encounters, I'm blown away by your vast knowledge regarding animals. Even if you factored out the communication aspect, you know so much, and it's so refreshing. And I appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Thanks, Steve. Listen, you have a great day.
You too. We'll talk soon. We'll be right back. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her?
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge?
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! Is now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend?
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.